Lesson 127. In time. On time. Show. What's the difference between in time and on time?
The difference between in time and on time is that in time means before it's too late, whereas on time means at the correct or arranged time.
Give me an example of the difference, please.
Unfortunately, I didn't arrive on time for the start of the concert, but I did get there in time to hear my favourite song.
Social. What do we mean by a person's social life?
By a person's social life, we mean what they do with their friends, etc., in their free time outside work.
Edge. Little by little. Intend. What part of the table is this?
That part of the table is the edge.
Can we balance a coin on its edge?
Yes, we can balance a coin on its edge.
Can we cut bread with the thick edge of a knife?
No, we can't cut bread with the thick edge of a knife.
What does the verb to edge mean?
The verb to edge means to move slowly and carefully towards somewhere.
Why does a car have to edge forward slowly when turning from a side street into a main street?
A car has to edge forward slowly when turning from a side street into a main street so that the other cars have enough time to see what it intends doing.
Tin. Preserve. Aluminium. Why do factories put food in tins?
Factories put food in tins to preserve it.
What metal is a tin made of?
A tin is made of tin or aluminium.
On average. On average, how many times a week do you go out socially?
On average, I go out 3 times a week socially.
Comparatives and superlatives of adjectives, participles, and adverbs. How do most adjectives of 2 syllables, which have the stress on the first syllable, form their comparatives and superlatives?
Most adjectives of 2 syllables, which have the stress on the first syllable, form their comparatives and superlatives by adding er and est.
Give me some examples, please.
Narrow, narrower, narrowest. Happy, happier, happiest.
Which adjectives of 2 syllables form their comparatives and superlatives by using more than and the most?
The adjectives of 2 syllables that form their comparatives and superlatives by using more than and the most are those ending in ful or less.
Give me some examples, please.
Careful, more careful, the most careful. Useless, more useless, the most useless.
How do we form the comparatives and superlatives of adjectives made from the participles of verbs?
We form the comparatives and superlatives of adjectives made from the participles of verbs by using more than and the most.
Give me some examples, please.
Exciting, more exciting, the most exciting. Tired, more tired, the most tired.
If you are not sure how to form the comparative and superlative of an adjective, what is it best to do?
If you are not sure how to form the comparative and superlative of an adjective, it's best to use more than and the most.
How do we form the comparatives and superlatives of adverbs that are made by adding ly to an adjective?
We form the comparatives and superlatives of adverbs that are made by adding ly to an adjective by using more than and the most.
Give me some examples, please.
Happily, more happily, the most happily. Loudly, more loudly, the most loudly.
Sympathy. What kind of people do you have most sympathy for?
The kind of people I have most sympathy for are those who have a serious illness, etc.
Reckon. Airline. Do you reckon you could jump up and touch the ceiling?
No, I don't reckon I could jump up and touch the ceiling.
Which airline do you reckon is the biggest in the world at the moment?
I reckon British Airways is the biggest airline in the world at the moment.
Horrible. Can the weather sometimes be horrible in the middle of winter?
Yes, the weather can sometimes be horrible in the middle of winter.
Anxiety. Anxious. Do you feel any anxiety about the future of the world?
Yes, I feel some anxiety about the future of the world.
Why is a shopkeeper always anxious to please his customers?
A shopkeeper is always anxious to please his customers so that they will come back again.
Possession. What's your most valuable personal possession?
My most valuable personal possession is my phone.
Entertain. Supposing you could entertain a famous person at your house, either a great figure in history or someone alive today, who would you choose?
Supposing I could entertain a famous person at my house, either a great figure in history or someone alive today, I'd choose the Queen of England.
Background. Apply. What do we mean by the background of a picture or a photograph?
By the background of a picture or a photograph, we mean the part which is behind the main subject.
When students apply to go to university, are they asked questions about their personal background?
Yes, when students apply to go to university, they're asked questions about their personal background.
What kind of activities do you apply your energy to most?
The kind of activities I apply my energy to most are dancing and playing sports.
Does the law of the land apply to everybody?
Yes, the law of the land applies to everybody.
Do you know what you have to do to apply for a new passport?
Yes, I know what I have to do to apply for a new passport.
Highly. The Browns. Give me a sentence with the word highly.
It's highly probable that the Browns won't come today.
Name me a profession that is both highly respected and highly paid.
A profession that is both highly respected and highly paid is a doctor.
Ancient. Egypt. Which is one of the most ancient civilizations in the history of the world?
One of the most ancient civilizations in the history of the world is the Egyptian civilization, the Babylonian civilization, etc.
Degree. Angle. Right angle. Grade. Centigrade. How many degrees are there in a right angle?
There are 90 degrees in a right angle.
What do you think the temperature is today?
I think the temperature is about 10 degrees centigrade today.
If a student gets an A grade in an exam, is that a good result or a bad result?
If a student gets an A grade in an exam, that's a good result.
Somewhat. Give me a sentence with the word somewhat.
I'd say he was somewhat lacking in common sense.
On average, are Scandinavian people somewhat taller than people in the rest of Europe?
Yes, on average, Scandinavian people are somewhat taller than people in the rest of Europe.
At all. Give me a sentence with the words at all.
It's very strange. I've worked hard all day, but don't feel tired at all.
Idiom 28. Why on earth equals a very strong form of why. What does the idiom why on earth mean?
The idiom why on earth means a very strong form of why.
Give me an example, please.
I just can't understand why on earth they got married if they don't like each other very much.
Unity.